Welcome to the We Do Things podcast, episode 4, with me, Danny.
And I'm Liam.
And we're going to be talking about all things gaming, film, and technology. So we're going to start off today by talking about the new Witcher 3 Wild Hunt DLC. I don't know if you want to start with that, Liam, because I'm not very knowledgeable on it.
Yeah, I've still not played the game. It was released in the UK yesterday. Yes, yesterday, the 19th. And yeah, a lot of people have had a lot of problems playing it, but I mean, because it's now running at 1440 rather than 1080, as well as an increased frame rate, because it's just such a pretty game and it looks incredible. And a lot of people have had a lot of problems playing it. Although, if I had it, I wouldn't, because I really need to play it and my computer's pretty okay for it. So I don't really know what else to say. I've been talking to a lot of people have said the game is incredible and it looks beautiful. And yeah, it's just a case of they've gone a little bit, how would you call it? They've gone
overboard.
Not overboard.
Oh.
They've gone a little bit enthusiastic, I guess, and just tried to really put as much as they can into it and up the resolution a lot. And but then again, I guess that's also people can run the game fine on medium. Like, a lot of people are running the game completely fine on medium. It's when they want to play it on ultra that's the problem, and a lot of people get into that mood where they want to play it on ultra, especially for the PC people. I can't speak for the consoles because I don't play console, so I don't really keep up to date with that sort of stuff. But yeah, like if you want to play it on medium and everything, you play it. It runs fine. It's still beautiful, but it's the people that are wanting to run it on like ultra that are having a few issues because they're trying to run it on ultra and the computer just can't handle it yet.
Right. So you said that it's running at 440p at a higher frame rate. But I heard that they'd actually downgraded the graphics. So they kind of like trying to compensate for the fact they've downgraded the resolution of the graphics and trying to make it so it runs smoother.
Yeah, so it's if you run it at ultra, it's if you run it at ultra, I've got the spec here. It's 1440p at 60 plus frames a second. And the requirements, a lot of people aren't checking the requirements before playing it, which is something that you really should always do with a game, especially if you decide you want to run it in 1440. I mean, 1080p is still an option for it. It's not like they've took that out. Like you say, they've downgraded it. Every game has to have slightly downgraded levels so people can adjust the quality to how they want it. All they've got is they've got an extra option there to play at ultra, which is 1440p. And to put it into perspective, like the requirements that a lot of people are playing at is an Intel Core i7, 4 gigahertz quad core, GeForce 970 graphics card at 4 gigabyte. What else is it? Cool master case and stuff like that. Yeah, RAM is 16 gig of RAM, DDR3 at least.
Yeah, so it's not required to have DDR5.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot, you know. It was requirement heavy if you want to play on ultra, but then again, most games are now. So a lot of people, so you guys that are moaning that you can't play it, if you've got a beefy rig and you can't play it, then you know there's something going off there. But if people want to keep moaning that they can't play the game on ultra when they're playing it on a computer that's like outdated by 2 or 3 years, then I mean that's completely understandable.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to like really upgrade the setup before they can actually play it on ultra. So like, don't moan if you can't play it on ultra because it still goes at a high resolution, even if it's not on ultra.
Exactly. And the game is still incredibly good looking on medium graphics as well. So
Yeah.
it's not like you're really missing out on much. It's just people get a little bit picky that they can't run everything at the massive requirements that they want, and
And
not everybody.
that's kind of hard to find nowadays because like you look at like most PC games and you run it on like medium graphics and it really takes a lot out of the experience because everything looks so poorly done. And you don't like if you've got a really crap setup like I have with my laptop, I am yet to see like some of the decent games in a nice high resolution. And like
But
when you
then
see it
again,
like
saying
that,
that, no, as you were saying, carry on. As you were saying,
I was going to say when you see it like that, because I'm so used to like seeing console games which always run it at the maximum it can. Like you can't really downgrade the graphics in it; it's whatever it's set to originally. So when you see games on PC that's been taken down to a lower resolution, it really makes it look crappy.
oh well, yes and no. It's like I don't know about anybody else out there, but games on PC are still generally quite nice looking at medium graphics. There's very little games that I like. There's a few games that I do run ultra or high just because I can. But and that's purely it. I don't really. But there's very few games that I do think really takes away from my experience just because I'm playing it on medium. Like a lot of games that I play are still just as nice looking. I mean, I play GTA 5 online and fair enough, that one I run as high as I can. But when I did knock it down to medium graphics, it was still like there was very little difference, in my opinion. And this is coming from somebody like, I'm not saying this in a bragging way, but this is coming from somebody that's learning to go into the game industry. So I do pick out little features. Like I pick out one thing that I pick out a lot is things like repeating textures, like downgrading quality, weird baking, intersecting geometry, things like that. Like pin as well as a big one. When you look at games that you play in medium and you still don't see half of those problems, then that's there's then yeah, it's good, and you'll be surprised how many top quality games are actually made a bit shit, but like they just do it to cut corners and it works.
Yeah.
So
Well, if anyone's in like the same boat as you, who's like going to university and doing this sort of course where you learn about repeating textures, as you said, and things like that, then be sure to click on this link here. I'm going to leave a link straight to your channel, so you can go and check out. He's going to be talking about like his experience with uni and how he's coping with it and stuff like that, aren't you? So, like, you can be with him on this journey and kind of like learn your way if like you're pre-uni. Then you can kind of get a feel for what it's going to be like, and you can prepare yourself in ways, because even you said you're going to talk about your interview process. That's going to like help a lot of people, because like me, I've never been to uni or anything. I've only been to college. So I mean, if I was considering uni, I would definitely like come check you out and like learn how to go through the interview process and how it works and everything.
Yeah, well, I said this on like my first video, like, and I don't know if anybody's seen it or really. But I'll be talking about how I'm going to start doing some when I get to grips with it more myself as well. I'll start doing some little tutorials and stuff about like I use a lot of ZBrush sculpting, so I'll do little like nicks and tricks for ZBrush sculpting, poly painting, creating things for texturing for games and stuff like that. And then also, but my big forte that I'm going to be going into concept art, really. So I'll be doing a lot of stuff like that as well. And also, over this week as well, I've been doing an Oculus Rift training session, but I'll talk about that more later, since we've actually got something mentioned in the Oculus Rift later when it comes down onto our list.
You definitely get surprised about what we're talking about. It's crazy what you said.
But yeah, so but I mean that'll be that's like really what I'm hoping to do, though, like be able to help people, and I'm guaranteed there'll be a lot of people, like I say, going back to talking about games and stuff. and graphics. There'll be a lot of people that are like me and do kind of nitpick and look. I mean, I look for imperfections sometimes, and I didn't before, but being on a course like this with lecturers that like all work in industry regularly and still work in industry and still very active, they tell you about little sneaks that they've done in things, and then you start to notice something. It kind of does ruin games for you a little bit, but at the same time, it gives you a whole new appreciation for them.
Yeah, and then you can kind of like, if you want to build upon like a gaming, like if you want to take a career in gaming, then you can like notice those faults or those imperfections, and you can like build on them.
Well, saying that, I mean, when you're at uni, and I can only speak because I've only been there a year, so I'm not gonna like I know exactly what I'm talking about. But what you'll find is like when I first started off, I only did really one semester using Maya and stuff, and I'm going to go back 12 at summer and relearn it and things like that, and relearn it my way. But you always try to make everything as perfect as you can. And what you find out is actually when you get into industry, a lot of it's just winging it, and you kind of just they have the formulas, but a lot of it is just, does that look right? Yeah, it looks right. Does it work? Yeah, it works. All right, it's good. Take it through because they're on a time limit, and you've got to get things out, especially kind of looking as good as you can. You can't always spend that time making everything perfect, and yeah. So that's that.
I mean, it's a hard industry to work in, but like you're always going to come under criticism, no matter what you do, essentially, which is kind of what Konami's been going through. And I know we've been talking about this for the first 3, and now it's 4 episodes that we've done of this podcast, but Konami's been under fire again because they've done fucked up, essentially. So we've been telling the story about how Konami have been messing around with PT and how they've basically cut Kojima out of the whole thing. I think now another guy has left. I want to say his name's Kadashi, but I'm not 100% sure. But basically, Konami have made the point that they're going to be stopping their focus on console games and PC games and focus all their efforts on mobile games because I think this is a quote. They don't want to sell. People don't want to buy items. They want to buy features, which is like that's come under fire a lot because that essentially means they're going to be heavily focusing on microtransactions and creating mobile games which require you to buy microtransactions, which is just wrong. Essentially, you should be making console games because you find it fun and that's what you enjoy doing, not to go with the flow. Essentially, you know, meant to go with the curve that you perceive is going, which is what Konami are doing. They're saying that the future of gaming is mobile games, but I think they're wrong. I mean, you hear the term PC Master Race coming up a lot, and as the time goes on, that's becoming more true and true. There's more games being released on the PC via Steam or other means than console games now, because consoles are getting more and more expensive, whereas PC games are essentially just as expensive as a console, and you don't have to pay as much because most households have a PC now. So,
well, saying that as well with Steam, when you mention Steam as well, like the amount of games that you can get on Steam that are only about £2.99 to £3 independent indie games, things like Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, how much are those games when they come out? About £5-6, £7 or something like that. So,
like that, yeah.
I mean that's like a full game of gameplay. Fair enough, they're not quite as long always as thing, but like even things like Daisy Standalone, I play that quite a bit. That was when I got it, £20. Endless amounts of gameplay. When you think there's a game that I'm going to touch up on this because I'm really quite into it and I've been watching a lot of videos on it and I really want to get it, is The Forest. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's like a survival game on That's 11. No, £11. Yeah, $15. So it's like 10.
Yeah,
So it's like 10
something like that.
quid. Again, endless amounts of gameplay, and that's still. I mean, fair enough. They're in alphas and stuff like that, but still, the amount of games that are on the Steam site, and anybody can kind of make a game now and release it through Steam. It's something that's widely easy to do, and the none of the other consoles allow that. And some of the indie games that you get are really fucking good as well. Like The Forest, I believe that it's only actually a team of 7 people working on it. It's been 7 people for God knows how long, still 7 people. It's not managed to get multiplayer. It's visually really nice to look at. There's so many features in it. All that for a tenner. I play a lot of Chivalry Medieval Warfare as well. I believe I got that for like a £5. And then again with the Humble Bundle and stuff, which is out every week, which is, I don't know what the Humble Bundle is, but I'm pretty sure everybody does that plays PC. It's 4 games released, and you pay like $1 for 4, or if you pay some more, you get extra games. And I recently got like The Witcher 2, Dragon Age, Dead Space, God knows how many games on, like all the time. Some high-end games that for consoles are still worth a lot of money. You get them for what, 75p if you want to pay the $1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might actually look what's on the Humble Bundle soon and get one today or something.
I'm looking at the
believe
Steam website right now, and it says that The Forest is $10.99 to buy, and it's still in early access. But like judging from like the whole gameplay and everything that you've seen, all the assets in it so far, and how good graphically and aesthetically pleasing it is, that's not a bad price for an early access game.
No, it's not.
And that's the good thing.
I mean,
about
like I say,
consoles. Well, PC. Like anyone can develop a game and put it onto the Steam marketplace, and anyone can like give it a go and have a look at it. But like, whereas mobile, you have to like. Most people might know that Captain Sparkles has gone through and made a mobile game called Fortress Fury, and from what we've collected from what he said about it, he's had to go to interviews and everything with Apple and Android just to get it on the marketplace, because they need to make sure that it works and everything, and that it's not infringing any copyrights or anything like that. Whereas on Steam, you can make your own game, include your own assets and everything in it, and just release it, and people can see that, and if it does well, it'll get featured.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not by any means saying that mobile games are not the right way to go. I mean, people have got to make games from it. I guess someone's got to make games from. I'm not saying, but dropping their console and PC base altogether just to focus on mobile games is a bad step. But focusing on mobile games, there is so much money in mobile games. I mean, look at how much like the guy who did Flappy Bird made and stuff like that, and Mojang with his Minecraft portable, and like it is Mojang, isn't it? Minecraft.
Well, it's now Microsoft because Microsoft bought them out. Yeah.
Well, yeah. But Microsoft, well, with the Minecraft and stuff like that, it's like even little features. I mean, there's a lot of free apps on the marketplace as well that people pay, and then you'll pay for microtransactions. And the amount of people that do actually pay the microtransactions, it's a good money maker. I mean, it is, but it's just a pain in the ass if that's all they're going to do.
Yeah, especially since they're dropping such a franchise as big as Silent Hills. I mean, like, they've made movies about it, and it was grown incredibly popular among gamers. And to drop it like that and just say, it's not happening anymore, we're just going on mobile games and creating fresh ideas. I mean, that's good, but not.
That's the problem they've had, though. Like, that's the problem that they've had since they've done all this in a small amount of time. It's been a very short amount of time that they've dropped Silent Hill, that they've said that they're not going to work on any more PC games. That they've then turned around and said that we're going to do this, and it's a small amount of time for everything to happen. It's kind of like people are only just getting over the fact that you've stopped doing Silent Hill, so now you're going to stop doing PC and console games altogether. So it starts to get people a bit angry because it's kind of like, so you've dropped all that. People kind of get the idea that you've dropped all that just to do mobile games, rather than you've dropped that and then decided, oh, right, but let's try this. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one. It's a touchy area, I guess. But I mean, the Silent Hill films as well did like unanimously quite well. I mean, the first one budgeted at 50 million, came back and made 97 million and stuff like that. The second one didn't do quite as good. It was 20 million rather than 50. It came back, made 52 million. So I mean, they've made over the money. So it's not like the games aren't doing well or the films aren't doing well. So it's just a weird one.
I think honestly, Konami's like made it the choice at the wrong time, especially since taking into consideration that EA Sports, who make the FIFA games, recently they've added some things into the FIFA 15 marketplace, which is like the online part where you can make your own ultimate team, where you can buy players and actually play them in online games and make hybrid squads. Recently they added this thing in called Price Rangers, and everyone has basically been in an uproar over it because it's awful. I mean, being a person that owns FIFA 15 and has played it, I can vouch for everyone and say this is awful. And it's the worst decision they've ever made. Like, the whole market's crashed, nobody's selling anything. And a lot of players from that have stopped playing it and moved over to PES, which is Pro Evolution Soccer, which is developed by Konami. So now that everyone's realized that FIFA is going shit, essentially, and they're making the move over to PES, after Konami have made this point that they're not going to make console games anymore, does that mean that there's not going to be a PES 16? And that means that people are going to be forced, if they want to play a football game, they're going to be forced to have to go and buy a FIFA 16 when it comes out. I mean, because Konami could take all the points from FIFA 15 and essentially copy in a way, like in their own style. And then people can be happy on that sort of platform and not play FIFA games again. And then, like, Konami being the money because EA have messed up. And that means that people are going to want to move over to PES if they make changes for PES 16. But, I mean, who knows? Like, if that's what Konami wants to do, obviously no one can say anything against it. Someone's going to be bound to like make a petition about it or something.
Oh yeah, but it's not going to do shit.
Yeah,
if they don't want to do it anymore, they're not. Well, if they don't want to do it anymore, they're not going to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they're dead set on moving away from console games and moving to mobile. But I mean, what can you do? This sort of thing happens. I'm sure it's happened to companies previously. Obviously, I can't name any because I don't know. But I guess we'll move on to films now. Last week we talked about the new film for Mad Max Fury Road and how much it was well received on Rotten Tomatoes, how it was always gaining like consistently high ratings and stuff. And obviously that's recently come out in the world for the public viewing. So you've seen it, haven't you, Liam?
Yeah, I went to see it on release day.
How did you find it?
I understand why it was getting so good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. It was fucking sick. It was good.
Oh, sorry.
There's a few features that I thought, oh my, like, just the fact that it's so refreshing to see a film that's not like all of the cars and explosions. It's not CGI. Like, all the explosions are real. All the cars are real. Tom Hardy actually, like, I don't want to spoil much, but it's a little bit that's in the trailer. Is Tom Hardy's on the front of this car, like, and he's strapped there with a mouthpiece on his face to stop him from like biting or whatever.
Kind of like
and
Anna
he actually
Black.
spent like, yeah, exactly. And he actually spent ages in real life strapped to the front of a car, driving through the Australian outback to make this film, and just stuff like that. So it's really cool, and it's just, and there's little bits like, there's a few things that, like, again, I was saying, being on courses where you work, like, there's visual effects is a big part of our course as well. So you look at little bits and you kind of look at how it's comped, and but overall, it's such a great film. It's like, you don't want to go in watching it expecting a storyline. Do you know what I mean? It's something, and they already said, the release statement was like, if you're looking for a storyline, this is not a film for you. But if you're looking for a film that's just crazy fun to watch, has big ass explosions that are realistic to a sense and stuff like that, it's such a crazy film, and it's actually done so well in the box office so far. Like, they said that they would make more films if this film did well. And to put it into perspective about how good the film's done, Tom Hardy's been signed on for another 3 films. So it's it's doing really well. It's near enough made back its entire budget in the first weekend, which was pretty good.
And that's pretty good for a film, to be honest.
Yeah, there's been films that have done better, like Fast and Furious 7, I believe, did better and stuff like that. But obviously, but it's such a good film. Speaking of which, as well, the art book's recently been released, and I don't want to like piss around about art books, but a lot of the film wasn't scripted. A lot of film was storyboarded instead of scripted,
right?
Because there's a few things that you kind of just had to improvise. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's Mad Max. There's a few things that you just have to feel with rather than scripting everything completely. And there's like storyboards and scenes and concept art in that film that's actually been designed about 10 years ago. So it just shows how long the directors and everybody's wanted a Mad Max film to come back. So,
but yeah, recently, because I've obviously, if you haven't noticed, the background is different from what it usually is. That's because I'm house sitting for my mum right now. But on Sky, I noticed on Sky Movies that they were featuring all the old Mad Max films, and obviously I didn't watch them. I don't know why I didn't watch them, because on the brink of this new film coming out, I don't know why I haven't watched them. But I saw a part of it, and obviously it's quite an old film. Like, does the new film kind of carry on from the older films if you've watched them?
No, it's a complete reboot.
All right, so it's like
Yeah,
a new sort of director trying to give his own take on what Mad Max is like, kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's so close to the original. The thing, not try to completely thing. I believe. See, Mad Max 1 for me is a little bit hazy because everybody prefers Mad Max 2. It's just,
yeah.
And I don't think the storylines are the same, but the way it's all done, and for a lot of the film they used the original score from the first Mad Max films as well, the originals. So the first music and stuff, which is it's cool. It's cool. And there's also like there's a few little Easter eggs and stuff like this. There's the V8 clan, and the symbol is this, right? The symbol is this, and that actually resembles what the V8 engine looks like. The V8 engine is actually shaped like that.
I kind of get it. Yeah.
With the interlocking pistons, stuff like that. It's like really little cool features, and
yeah. Well, I suppose if you were an actor going into the Mad Max role, it's not really a script; it's more of a mindset. Like, you have to kind of get in. I suppose you'd have to have watched the old Mad Maxes to try and get into the sort of mindset and attitude into what Mad Max would do.
No, not even.
Really?
Not even. Yeah, not even. Honestly, from the first moment you see it, he sells it so well that you don't have to watch. I mean, we went with people that have never watched one of the first Mad Max. Out of the whole group that actually went with us, and they were quite a decent sized group, There was only me and my friend Stefan that had actually seen the original Mad Max films, and everyone else already says like it sells it so well. Like you can tell that it's a little bit loopy, and it's just the way they do it from the first moment. In fact, even before he gets on screen, you're already kind of in that mindset just with how it sets out. So it's, yeah, it's good, and they do a really good job with it as well. To put it into numbers, sorry, I mentioned about budget and stuff. To put it into numbers, the budget was 150 million, which is, I mean, it's a good budget, especially since they had to make all those cars and everything. And in the first weekend, it brought back 115.8 million. So that's near enough its budget back in the first weekend, and it'll still be playing for the next couple of weeks.
And that's kind of what you want to be doing when you're making a film. You want to be like making a film that sell, essentially. Because I mean, it's all well and good making a film that you enjoy and things like that, but for it to be actually like received well and be very successful, that's another thing. And that's what you're kind of aiming to do when you're making a film, I suppose. But another film which I suppose a lot of people will go and see is the World of Warcraft movie. Now, I only know this because you've said about it to me, but when did they actually announce it? Because when I tried to search for it, it only brought out BlizzardCon 2014, where they basically confirmed it.
The BlizzCon 2014, they actually shown the trailer, but that trailer's not been recorded and it's not been released anywhere else. It was exclusive to the people that went to BlizzCon. No recording devices. But apparently, they showed the trailer and it showed Stormwind, the dwarves, the orcs, and everything. And then I released a video yesterday to say how excited I was because I'd just seen a picture of Orgrim Doomhammer, a screen capture from it inside the film. And my God, he looks incredible. Like, so good. Spot on to how you'd expect. And which I really like. What I really like is it's still a red orc as well. So I'm wondering if it'll end up whereabouts it's set. I know it's set in World Warcraft 1. And I don't know if I'm not sure if you're familiar with Warcraft lore, but I'm not sure if the orcs drank Manaroth's blood during Warcraft 1 or whether it was Warcraft 2, which is what I'm really looking forward to. Because if they show Manaroth in this film, oh my God, I'll flip. So,
like, obviously you've seen the screenshot. I was unable to find anything that showed me what it was going to be like. So does it look like it's going to be like CGI based, or is it going to be like part CGI, part live action?
I think part CGI, part live action, because obviously your orcs and things are most likely going to be CGI. However, saying that, I've seen some really impressive new cosplays of people wearing full orc things and look like the real, and it's really cool, really cool. So I'm not sure exactly how they're going to take it, but
coming from a person who's never played World of Warcraft, I've only got the basics from Hearthstone, because you even said to me that Hearthstone is kind of uses assets from the World of Warcraft games.
Well, it uses characters.
Yeah.
It uses characters. Yeah.
But from the information I've been told by you, from a person who basically knows nothing about it, I'm actually tempted to go see it because I'm a sucker for fantasy kind of films.
Well,
and I think I'd enjoy seeing something like that.
I suppose a good thing with it is that no matter, I guess, the fact that it is set from Warcraft 1, it's right at the beginning of the games. So somebody could go in. I'm guessing that's why they started it there, because somebody could go in without ever playing a Warcraft game or World of Warcraft in their life and sit and enjoy it, because it's set in the story from the beginning. Well, from the beginning where there's something to tell, rather than rather than
Sticking you in
setting
the
it, just
middle.
say making it, yeah, sticking you in the middle. So same way as when you make a character on World of Warcraft and you level up from the beginning, you still play all the old storylines and stuff, and then get yourself to the newest thing. So somebody can play World of Warcraft now and still get it eventually because they'll play from the beginning. And this is another thing, you watch from the beginning, and then they release more films, and you start to get the story more and more and more. So I mean, yeah, it's a good thing, and it's going to be a great film. I know it is. I can tell, and I don't think I'm going to be disappointed at all. So,
Well, considering the
yeah.
amount of money they make from World of Warcraft, I think they'll have a big enough budget to make a decent looking film. Because I
Well,
think
the
that's the
film
problem with.
is already
Go on.
the film is already from this scene is already decent looking, like just from that one picture. And one big thing is Blizzard are always really very, very good at making cutscenes. They've always been really good at CGI cutscenes and things like that. So especially if it's part of their department's working on it as well, it's not going to be any less than thing. So did you say you've not seen all Grim Doom, like you've not seen what it looks like?
No, I have not.
Right, I'll send you a link over now. Even though
Okay.
but yeah, I think there should be 2 pictures on there.
I'll have a quick look.
Just scroll down. If you scroll down, there's the second picture as well. And if you click on them, it actually brings it bigger. So, like even that, like you can see like the hairs and stuff in the light on his back and things like that. If you click it in bigger, and
That's got to be one of the most detailed pictures I've ever seen for like CGI.
And that's still from the film as well. So that's actually what it'll look like in film. And then if you scroll down as well, there's an up close of his face, and if you click that big one up, you really see. Like this is where it becomes kind of, is that CGI? Is that a person in a mask?
Yeah, I mean that's got so much detail you could literally pass it off as someone just wearing makeup.
Yeah,
it genuinely looks real. Like that's the problem with most like video games and stuff like that. They try it too hard to make the features, and you end up with, say, like hair. It looks really crappy, and it looks like multiple clumps are stuck together and stuff like that. But this looks like someone's literally like zoomed in to the face and put in each individual hair into his face, and it actually looks authentic.
One thing is as well, like you get a lot of perfection from imperfections. Like the thing that makes things look real is like imperfections. So like if he didn't have none of the scars that he's got or the wrinkles and things, it look completely fake. It's little things like that that make it. So I mean that's just to show what. So I mean if you look at that if you can actually. Have you clicked in the large picture of his face? Because you can actually zoom in a lot further and look at things like the eyes and stuff and really look at the detail. It's even to the point like you can click it. If you click around his nose area, you can see each individual nose hair coming out of his nostril.
Wow.
Stuff. Like the wrinkles on the lips and the slight and the beard and yeah, it's very, very impressive.
So, judging just from this one essential screenshot, it's already looking promising for detail.
Yeah, I mean, if fair enough, if the film's not that great, like story wise and stuff, at least you know it's going to be visually really nice. So, yeah.
I suppose that's the thing.
They've got some good actors on it as well. So I mean, I'm hoping it's going to be really nice.
Do you know when this is roughly going to be released then? Oh,
well,
it's June 10th.
Yeah, in my video, I made a mistake and I said March 2016, which was the original release date. The original release date was March 11th, 2016, I believe. I could be wrong. And they've changed it to June, I think. And a lot of rumors say that that's because Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice is out on the 25th of March. So a lot have said that they probably moved it to not coincide. So I mean, a June release is still a very big release as well. It's not like a late November release or something. It's a prime time sort of release. So
Yeah, I think they've chosen a good date for like not to clash with other viewers, like because I reckon a lot of people will want to go and see that film, and
yeah, I'll be
like,
sat in it on release day in my Orgrim or Grommash Hell Scream. Get up, you know. I'll be dressed up.
Anyway, let's move on to the last section, which is technology. I don't really know much about this. I've only gathered what I could from IGN, but apparently the US Air Force are going to have a mystery launch today, which is Wednesday, the 20th of May. They're using an orbital plane, which is known as the X-37B. And apparently this is going up into orbit for the 4th time, and they really haven't released any information as to what they're actually doing. Like, there has to be a reason why they're going up into space, but they haven't told anyone, and they're not releasing any information as to what they're actually doing. And
strange.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever heard about anything like an orbital plane. Like, I've known of planes that can almost reach the atmosphere, like the outer atmosphere of Earth, but I've never heard of a plane that can actually breach the atmosphere and orbit around Earth. This is the first time hearing of it, anyway.
First I've heard of it as well, to be honest.
Yeah. What could they possibly be doing in space? Like, the only thing I can think of is they're taking someone up to do maintenance on the satellites they've got orbiting around Earth.
Possible. I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know.
I mean,
the first I've heard of it.
I'll send you the link to the actual page, but if you look at the imagery that is shown of the actual plane, it looks really technologically advanced. I think that's it anyway, or it's something similar to it. So for them to go up for the 4th time, like, they haven't said whether it's unmanned or if it's manned. But
no.
there is a lot.
I mean, the plane looks like something out of fucking Star Trek or something. So I mean, it looks good. It's got my vote.
And it even says on the article that there's been a lot of speculation that it's going to be for some sort of space weapon for whatever reason.
Well, everybody's going to moan that it's a conspiracy, aren't they, really? Let's face it.
And obviously, the government or officials have been denying these claims. And they're saying that basically it's to test new space technologies, which, I mean, is completely plausible considering the fact that they're actually going to be doing a manned space mission to Mars soon, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And obviously that's going to be a one-way flight for everyone. They're only going to send them there, and they're not going to have enough fuel to bring them back unless they somehow figure out a way to take more fuel along the way, or have something that can refuel. But other than that, they're really ambiguous with the things they're doing.
There you go, straight over my head, not a clue.
Yeah, I suppose that's as much as we can say it. But it's going to be launched from Cape Canaveral, which is located in Florida, which I've actually visited before. So that is a huge place. And I've touched the moon rock that they've got there, and it's freezing cold. I suppose that's as much as we can say.
Yeah, until we hear more about it, then there's not really much to be said. It's just you just know that they're doing it. Now, one of my favorite topics.
One
of my favorite topics: Oculus Rift porn.
You heard right. Oculus Rift porn. Now, this is the report that Oculus Rift are actually going to be open to people who make porn, making virtual reality porn, and make it compatible with the Oculus Rift. I honestly don't know what to think. This is like every nerd's dream.
I'd watch it. I'd give it a go. Just to know how. Yeah, I mean, I think this has been talked about a lot. This has always been speculated. It's one of those things that's always been speculated, and I think it's only now that it's started to actually think, oh shit, people are actually probably going to do this. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot possible with the Oculus Rift. Trust me. So it's not the most ridiculous idea I've heard, and it'd make a lot of money with some creepy old men and stuff. And well, I don't know. It's weird, but I mean, it's I don't know.
I suppose it's kind of a niche market, I suppose. But I mean, we've already seen this sort of thing, kind of like theorized in one of the Bourne films, where he's walking down that whole alleyway in Amsterdam, I think it is, and there's like loads of pods where there's actually one man having virtual reality sex with a woman. And like, I suppose for this sort of thing to be concreted, it's a bit weird, but I suppose it's kind of a good thing because I don't know. I don't know what my views on it is.
Go for it, I guess. My views on it. Yeah, if people want to buy it, do it. Make some money off it. You might as well. I mean, what else at the moment do people really use Oculus Rift for at the moment? I've not seen it really out open to the public yet, and so
it's mainly only been used for like trying to make their own games and trying to make it compatible with other games like Alien Isolation or some game like that. They're just trying to make it compatible with other games.
But I mean, at the moment, the Oculus Rift is a great idea. A lot of people seem to love it, but at the moment, I wouldn't class it as taken off yet. It's big. A lot of people want it. A lot of people like it, but it's not widely available yet. So, it's not in the UK anyway. I don't know if it is in any other country. I've not known it to be. So, I don't know. Like I said, we're doing some Oculus Rift training at uni, and I think there's only like 2 available there, 2 or 3. But there's always somebody at our uni that does an Oculus Rift virtual reality scene, and they're always so good, and they're great to look at, and they're so much fun. They take a lot of time and detail, but they're so much fun. So, if somebody wants to sit and spend the time and the long man hours and things to make a virtual reality porn game, then good on them, get it released and let people buy it, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose this is just going to be an end up to being a gateway for like robotics. Like as we talked about, there was obviously that LG robot leaked dancing. I suppose people are going to end up making robotics which are compatible with the Oculus Rift and end up like doing the stuff with you through the porn, if you know what I mean. Like they'll have an artificial vagina which coincides with what's going off in the virtual reality. But yeah, I don't know. It's just so weird.
Yeah, no, I don't know. People got to make the money somewhere, so why not virtual reality porn?
Yeah,
they want to spend the time making it.
People have always joked of 3D porn and things like that, but for them to Oculus Rift say, Oh yeah, people said they're going to make virtual porn games and virtual reality porn, and we're fine with that. That's just so
And saying
like
that
such a
though,
weird.
I mean, saying that though, people joked about 3D porn for a while. It's out there. I've seen it. You know, it's not massive. It's not widely like everybody's like, oh yeah, let me see some 3D titties. But I mean, it's there.
Well, I suppose you'd have to have
It's
something compatible with it because you'd have to have like a computer or laptop that's compatible with 3D, and then have something that can receive the 3D.
it's easily accessible. So I mean, to be fair though, saying that YouTube went through a time, didn't they, where that even put 3D on? Could you remember that stage?
I think
I don't know
yeah,
if
I
you
think
know
I
the
saw a
people.
few
It
videos
didn't
that
last long.
attempted.
Where you could use the old fashioned red and blue 3D glasses, and a lot
I
of
think
people make those.
if I'm correct in thinking, they still have an option in the like the advanced settings where you can actually enable 3D, and I think I forgot what the actual term for it is, but you can actually enable like a 3D feature for your videos.
I'm not sure, but you know,
But I suppose like the most recent thing they've ever done is they unveiled that you can actually have a 360-degree view of a video. Like if you upload a video that's had GoPros or something similar to that attached in a 360-degree angle, you can actually upload that to YouTube and actually like spin the camera around and have a look. And there's been loads of videos going up from the GoPro YouTube channel where you can actually use it. And like, there's been one where there's a woman mountain climbing, like doing rock climbing and stuff, and you can like see everywhere around her, and it's so seamless. You can't even tell that it's not 360 degrees. It's like you're actually pivoting the camera while she's doing it. It's crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
No, never heard of that. Not seen it yet, so I will have to have a look.
Well, I think the last thing I'm going to touch upon is one that I wasn't sure whether I was going to talk about, but I think we should because it's like a step forward in technology. We always hear about 3D printing and other uses that it can be used for, like you can make tools and stuff. And then people were trying to hit at the fact that you could possibly make 3D meals by using artificial meats and products like that. Recently, L'Oreal, which is the skincare and hair marketer, have recently been looking to partner with an organization called Organovo to try and find a way in developing 3D, like 3D printing living and breathing skin tissue, so they can like essentially do tests on, because at the moment they're going to have to do it through taking donors from plastic surgery. So like if someone goes to get plastic surgery, you can then donate the excess tissue that isn't needed anymore to L'Oreal, and they'll be able to do tests on their products. But they're looking to actually 3D print living skin so they can do the tests on. So it's like essentially saving all of the like real skin or whatever. I don't know what to think about that, because I think if that sort of asset is actually made available for 3D printing, people might end up taking it overboard, because you don't know what people are going to be like if they have access to 3D print whatever they want.
Well, I don't think it's going to be one of the things that become public access. So it's not like you got to aren't public access. So I mean, don't get me wrong, it makes sense if they're not allowed to test on people anymore. The next best thing would be to test on as close as you could get to real. You don't want animal tests, so to print things like 3D skin would make a lot of sense and would be a really good step forward in technology. But it's just, I mean, because it could be used for so many different features. I mean, if somebody gets a cut where they have to then like take skin from someone else on the body, instead of taking that skin from somebody else on the body, they could just 3D print them a new patch of this skin that they need. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's all.
that'd be like
It's
so beneficial.
exactly. It'll be one of those things that massively beneficial. They'll keep trying to do because it'll help so many people, but it won't be. It's not like somebody with a 3D printer at home can just be like, yeah, I'm going to print me up some skin and make a whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's just not going to be like that because it's just not going to be public access.
I suppose
So,
L'Oreal, as long as L'Oreal aren't dicks about it and try and make it so that this whole way of making like 3D printing skin private for themselves, then maybe that sort of technology can then be transferred into, say, hospitals or wards where they can actually like treat burn victims who have like lost their skin due to a massive fire or other means, and then they can 3D print the skin, and then like as long as they've like got the genetic material so that it'll actually be compatible with the human that they're putting it on, so it doesn't get rejected, then it will help so much for like rebuilding skin cells and repatching them up essentially.
yeah, no, I don't think it'll be one of those things. If you've got stuff like L'Oreal 3D printing skin, then it's not going to be one of those things that they're going to be able to get away with keeping to themselves. Because I mean, let's face it, it's going to be they'll earn a lot of money off it, off of other industries. But there'll be a lot of people that are try and buy it off them, and L'Oreal would sell things off it.
You're getting Skype called.
Yeah, can you hear it?
Yeah, just a little bit, but it's not too bad. But anyway,
Leave me alone, man.
I think we've touched up on everything now.
Yeah, man, I think that's about it. Yeah, it's been about an hour.
Yeah, it's been a good session. I think we've got everything off our thing. Just hopefully next week we'll have more to talk about. But as always, if you've got an idea that you want us to talk about next week and we haven't talked about it already, then be sure to leave a link in the leave a comment in the description. Also, leave a like if you enjoyed this and subscribe for more weekly content. So from me, that's goodbye.
From me, that's goodbye.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.